Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I am Frank.
And I'm Peter.
He's Peter. And today we're going to be digging into the directors, not really the bucket because they're all in the same bucket now. But we're going to be doing Penny Marshall today. So that'll be super fun. She's really great. And
unfortunately, though,
what?
She has passed.
Well, yeah, she's passed.
So I'm just saying.
But, you know, the movie, the work,
the
work lives on.
Work goes on.
The work lives on. You know. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Penny Marshall. So.
We had a question from one of our listeners/viewers, Lisa, and she posed a question and said, what movie, which hasn't had a remake or hasn't been redone, deserves to be remade?
Okay, so like a second chance.
A second chance.
Second chance. Like, all right, you screwed this up. Give it another try.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah, a couple of things come to mind real quick. So, all right, cool. Great. I'm going to start with Penny Marshall.
Sure.
I'm going to start with. She's got a lot of big stuff out there, so to speak. But I'm going to start with Awakenings.
Okay.
Robert De Niro, Robin Williams movie.
Right.
And it is probably what I would consider to be one of her most serious movies. It's a little bit less light than some of the other stuff that she's done.
Yeah.
So, but she gets great performances from both Robin Williams and Robert, especially De Niro. She's able to tell this story of a guy wakes up from a coma, right? So, and but there's such to be able to rein in Robin Williams, I think, is the greatest accomplishment of this film. And it's a film; it's not a movie. So her other stuff, I would call it movies. But in Awakenings, the performances that she's able to get from Robin Williams, and I think it's probably one of his best serious performances. I just think it speaks volumes about her skill as a director, given so much of the lighter stuff that she's done. For her to do something like this, I thought was an amazing feat. But I kind of want to gloss. So I'm going to gloss over that. I want to get to Big, because I love this movie so much.
There's a lot to love.
There's a lot to love in this movie, and it's silly and it's funny, and it could have gone in a million bad ways, but it maintains such heart. It's so good, and you feel such sympathy because you think, oh, here's this boy, he wishes he could be big, and it's one of those things where it could have just been all these shenanigans where he's, an adult now and he gets to do all the adult stuff that kids always want to do. And it could have just been scene after scene after scene of just shenanigans.
Right.
But it's so much better than that. It actually shows like a downside to it without it turning into like a modeling.
This weird modeling.
Yeah, it shows the downside, but not the dark side of it.
Well, I like,
So, and
I'll talk more because
it is one of my picks. That one of your choices, So, really, really, really fantastic there. A League of Their Own is, I think, a next one. And in that movie, she's got a lot of big personalities to deal with in that. She's got Madonna. She's got Rosie O'Donnell. Gina Davis, Lori Petty, another Tom Hanks, performance in there for her. Those two work together quite a bit, and such a great movie. Based on true stories of a women's baseball league way back in the day, and it's again, I think that one of the things that Penny Marshall was able to do is maintain sort of like the heart to these stories. That could have been just farcical. Yes. And I think that I think was the strength of her of her as a director. That you're able to take a movie like A League of Their Own or Big, and they've got really comical premises in a way.
Right.
You know, where, I mean, yeah, you don't cry during baseball, blah, 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 iconic lines and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but it really could have been this almost misogynistic look at, you know, women
Right.
playing baseball.
Right.
But it treats the whole story with respect, and it gives you a lot of insight into just, you know what,
It's a wonderful little teaching tool, because at the end of the movie, it all comes back where you see these women as older women having a reunion, and it's like a teaching tool. It's a moment to say, no, this was part of our history. And,
it's a part of our
and-
history,
and-
and people don't. I think that what happens is in our society, it's gotten better, but for, you know, sports like aspirations, especially in a sport like baseball,
Mhm.
you never really saw women aspiring to that. You don't see a lot of professional women baseball leagues. The WNBA doesn't get as nearly as much play as it
Mhm.
should. So when you see this movie and it's treated with such respect,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
the performances are fantastic. I love that movie.
No, so do I. And
So go ahead. I just sort of
no.
moved through those.
We overlap. We
Not
overlap
all
a
three.
lot.
All three, really?
Yeah.
That I think
Yeah.
was what, the second time.
The second
that's
time
happened?
only, yeah.
Who was the first one?
I want
That
to
was
say
a weird one.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I think it was Oscar
the-
Isaac.
Was the only
But I
other
feel
time
better
it's
about, you know, kind of overlapping with Penny Marshall.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Let me just start off with League of Their Own, because
Okay.
you just finished with that.
Yeah.
We'll just go. Yeah, it's amazing. It's an important story to tell. There's fun characters and funny situations, but you never just get lost in. It's like, oh, it's just comedy. It's just it's funny.
it's not just a sports movie.
yeah.
It's not just a girl power movie.
No,
It's
like
fantastic.
history, and it's sports, and you're interested in the individual story that are going on with the individual
And
people.
even Tom Hanks' story.
The Tom Hanks story,
That
right?
Tom Hanks' story gets kind of equal time.
Yeah,
I
right.
think.
Each one kind of develops,
Yeah.
and there's a thing. There's the sisters. There's everything.
Yeah.
There's different stuff.
Yeah, and it's all woven together so
it's
beautifully.
It's done well. Nobody gets short shrift in terms of time or attention. I mean, yeah, there are obviously some minor characters who we don't get to know, but I'm talking of the supporting cast and the stars. It's one, we get to see it all, and it does take a talented director to be able to see what's going on as you're working day to day, and she's obviously getting the performances that she wants out of this thing. The finished product is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a movie that we had one, the one and done question kind of thing. Do you ever need to see? Certainly, and yeah, we had some answers. Yeah, there are a couple movies. This is a movie. Yeah,
you could watch.
I could watch this just about any old time. It's just one of those things, and I love it, and that's because I think Penny Marshall did this in her own way, in her own style, and could other directors, if anybody else done it, it would be different. It would definitely be different.
Yeah, definitely.
And what the other thing that I
if
love,
Quentin Tarantino did it, Quentin
there would be a lot of crying in baseball if Quentin Tarantino. Oh my God.
It's a whole movie of people charging the mound. I don't understand it.
That's right. Oh, she's got the bat. Watch out. It wouldn't be
Madonna
pretty.
would stab someone.
It wouldn't be
in
pretty.
a Quentin Tarantino version.
What I love.
I want to see that poster.
What I love, and always, and unfortunately, sadly, she's no longer with us. What I always loved about Penny Marshall is there is, whether when she was acting, and then as a director, there is a what do you want to say, a Penny Marshallness to her work. either acting or thing, and which is really impressive because her older brother, is a director. Her ex-husband is a director. Her ex-father-in-law, the Reiners, they're directors. So but with her own talent and her own determination and her own person,
Yeah.
she is a director, or was a director, who had her, like I said, there's a Penny Marshallness.
Yes.
And it's heart and it's comedy, but without like too much.
It's not.
It's not like, it's not slapstick. It's
not
like
silly.
maudlin,
It's not
like
schmaltzy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great
yeah.
balance.
And it's very good. So
Yeah.
League of Their Own, and then Big, which is
Same thing.
which is probably, I don't know if that was her biggest one, but to me that was like the biggest one. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Big, but it's a great story. But like you said, it could go too much one way, too much of another, and there's always something there that we discover a little more and more. So even to the point when Tom Hanks's boyhood friend, who hasn't changed, he's still
Yeah.
a boy, you see his whole take on it. He's still hanging out with them, but he calls the Tom Hanks character on his shit when he's starting to change.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're changed. You're doing, you know what I mean?" And not just physically changed, but like your attitude change, your personality.
He's just like, well, yeah, because I can have sex now.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
And so, it's good to see. It's good to see this from a lot of different people's viewpoint.
Yeah.
And it could have just been like a gag reel.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
oh no, next scene, next scene,
Silly
next
thing.
scene, next scene. Stuff is tempered, and it's
Again,
obviously a testament to her as a director, Tom Hanks as an actor, obviously. But it's just wonderful. Robert Loggia, and this great cast in there. But,
It's a perfect balance
Yeah.
of funny and heart, and I think that's a Penny Marshall movie. Awakenings, the third
which is the
which
third one.
notwithstanding, there's not a lot funny in there.
No, but like you say, on the director side, on the other side of the camera, there are two completely different actors in this movie, and could you let them both just do their own thing? Well, yeah, but I don't know what you would have gotten. You've got and let's be fair, let's be honest about this. Robin Williams and Robert De Niro were both consummate professionals, where they do have a name, they do have this certain aura about
Brand,
each of them,
almost.
But brand. But I do think that they're consummate professionals enough to know you still take direction from
Right.
the director.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Well,
It is wonderful how she's able to like use them properly.
Well, no, but I
sounds
also
weird,
think
but
that
you know what I mean.
there's also not only you managing their performances, she's also got to keep in mind that an audience is going to see that poster
Yeah.
and has to manage their expectations.
Yeah.
And
And
because
still
someone's
tell
going to
the
see,
story,
a
too.
Robert De Niro movie and Robin Williams. I mean, you think about those two, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what is going to happen
Yeah.
here? And then you go into that movie.
Thank God someone's
And
in a
you're just
coma.
like-
No.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
wait, this is like
Yeah,
super.
you're telling a
serious.
story.
But it's also like, and you walk out of there going, okay, great. Whereas when someone walks into like an Adam Sandler movie, and when he did some serious stuff, and he did a great job when he did serious stuff, but our audience's expectations were not managed well. And that could be marketing, that could be any number of things. But I think that when you've got Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, you've got two huge, like I said, brands.
Yeah.
And to sort of shift that perception and get great performances and put together a great story, it's like, holy crap. And it's a great movie.
No, she.
They're
Unfortunately, we won't be seeing any new
No.
Penny Marshall movies, but she left us enough where we can
Oh, yeah. You
enjoy
can always
them
go back and
forever.
look, yeah.
Always.
So, yeah, great stuff. Wow, that's funny. I think that's only the
second
time that
Yeah.
we've matched.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And obviously she had others, Jumping Jack Flash. There were
I
others
like
that-
Jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah.
That would have been, if we were going like, top 5,
Yeah.
that would have been, that's a funny movie.
Yeah.
Less heart, but it's still pretty funny. That's just straight up comedy. Anyway, so a question from Lisa. Remakes.
Yes, the remake.
Remakes question. All right. So thinking about that.
A movie that deserves to be remade.
For one thing,
I think that's how
I'm not
that's how it was worded.
A great movie that should be remade.
Well,
it's
just
tough because
a
a great
movie that needs to
movie.
be.
Yeah. I'm not a huge remake fan.
I'm anti.
So there aren't a lot. I would like to see someone take another pass at maybe what's that one? I can't. We talked about it before. Cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Aliens. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because that's like such a great idea.
It is a great idea.
No,
I agree.
There's also the Jonah Hex
That series.
that has got. I mean, that's a good story that I think was done badly.
Sure.
The X-Men movies. I think that now with the success of the MCU, when they've got
Notice
a
how
formula,
we're already picking. We're picking comic books or you know what I mean?
Because I think that.
Yeah,
Well, the thing
yeah.
is, though, I mean, you've got like great stories in there
Yeah.
that I think in the past were not necessarily successfully thrown up on the screen. MCU now they've got their, I don't know, their formula, their magic dust or whatever they're doing.
Exactly.
And I think that you could you sort of reboot again, which feels like again, with the X-Men or even Wolverine, and sort of do those again. There's an instinct to talk about, some of the Star Wars stuff, but I'm too much of a purist and an apologist, quite frankly, for it. Leave those alone.
Yeah, I don't
Even
want that.
bad Star Wars is like bad pizza. It's still pizza, So, so yeah, I think some of the comic book stuff needs, could kind of deserves a second shot.
Mm-hmm.
Other classic movies, like you don't want to redo like Casablanca or Gone with the Wind or any of those.
I firmly believe if the movie is if a movie from the past was a great movie, there is never a need to redo
Yeah,
it.
there are some
But there are some movies that you'd go, maybe give it a shot because it could have been done better, like you were pointing out.
there are some
with
movies
some
that
of
I
the
love so
comic
much
movies.
that I would love to see with more contemporary actors in it. Like I love the movie His Girl Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Love that movie.
Me too.
And I would love to see that with more contemporary, comedic actors. Like that would be great with like a George Clooney.
Well,
And
there are certain times I think directors will take a movie, will say, like His Girl Friday, not take the entire movie, but they'll take certain snippets and like be able to, so like the Hutsecker Proxy,
okay,
which is the Coen brothers,
yeah,
like that one, they kind of take certain snippets from that, you know what
That
I mean?
type of-
that
but I would really, I would love to see. Seriously, I would love to see a shot-by-shot remake of His Girl Friday with
See,
more
I don't know if I
contemporary
would
actors.
like that. I think it would.
I
it
think
would-
I think if nothing else, it would be
yeah,
a fun experiment.
experiment. Yeah, I
Because I really love the
Yeah.
rat-a-tat dialogue.
like I'll be honest. Like there's. I'm trying to think of movies that have been remade that I can honestly say they're
Perfect.
like they're both really good or whatever. There is a movie that I enjoyed, and then when they remade it, I enjoyed the remake, and it's the same movie, but it's done Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But like the original, it's older,
Yeah.
so it's black and white, and then the other one from whatever, maybe 80, 81.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they're both really done well. And I'm just thinking, I'm trying to think, is there something that really needs a remake? Like you say, there's definitely some earlier Marvel, earlier DC ones that you'd go.
Some of those, like the X-Men was really interesting because the thing is with X-Men is how they jumped around in time. It's just like, what is happening right now? It was just so convoluted that way. The way they went, they jump back to younger, and then they're just, and within some of those stories, there was some time travel. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
Am
I time traveling?
Exactly. It's just like, where's my constant? So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's tough because, like I said, I've always believed if a movie's that good, I don't want to see somebody, do a remake of Goodfellas or I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of a movie, or I don't need to see Jaws redone. Or
I wouldn't mind seeing like His Girl Friday done on the stage. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
With more contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with more contemporary people, because you can't reanimate the dead.
You could try.
You could try.
You tried
That's a whole
hard
other
enough.
movie. The production costs for that would be insane.
It's a great question from Lisa. There are obviously other people who would love to remake everything.
Yeah. Why did you remake RoboCop?
Yeah, exactly. It was
no need.
It did its job and it did it well. Just
doing
watch it.
The sequel, I thought, to Blade Runner was the better way to go with that, as opposed to just remaking it.
Yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed that movie, and
I think you enjoyed it more than I did.
Yeah,
I really loved.
And then
the original,
like the Agatha Christie remake, where they did. What did they do? Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah, which is like fine, but you already know the story. But it's just like, let's just watch.
It's tough to like watch it with a fresh pair of eyes because you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they did. Speaking of Agatha Christie, they did 10 Little Indians, but I think they remade that one not even long after that one. It's like, and then there were none or something, or
I think that there's another Agatha Christie one coming out too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But like, there's a bunch. I'm starting to think of movies. Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 didn't need to be. First one is it's perfect. You don't need to.
Well, the thing is, though, you get a more contemporary name. It's a box office job. Blah blah blah. Yeah, exactly.
You do more train
right.
stuff. I get it.
Let's do the bucket.
Who we got?
Ethan Hawke.
Hey, he's amazing.
All right,
How many
that's a
times
good
does
one.
he keep coming in?
That's a good one. And a little shocking, to be honest. Yeah. Anyway. All right,
an
folks.
inside joke.
Hey, thanks for watching and listening and all that good stuff. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.